Okay, today we're gonna work on one of my most favorite scales. It's not C, it is the G flat scale. If you've already watched and learned the D flat scale, I'm going to give you a quick lesson because you already know everything. So the G flat scale is my favorite along with the D flat because this is the major scale because it uses all of the black notes. We'll do the whole step, half step really fast. So you've got your G flat, a whole step higher is an A flat, a whole step higher is B flat. So you've got all three black notes. Then you go up a half step, which is B. Then a whole step, you've got D flat, whole step, E flat, whole step, F, half step, G flat. So if you look at it, you can see it uses all of the black notes possible, plus of course the G flat to finish it. And the only two white notes are B and F. Now technically it's a C flat because you're only allowed, when you play a scale, when you're labeling a scale, you're only allowed one of every note in the scale. So we have G taken, G flat, we have A taken, A flat, we have B taken, B flat. You cannot have a B flat and a B natural in a major scale because then C gets totally left out because you got to keep it all flat. So you can't turn this into C sharp. So basically this becomes a C flat. So you've got G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat. I know it looks like B. That's okay. We'll just visually remember it's the B, but it's technically labeled a C flat. Then D flat, E flat, F, and then G flat. So this is just like, for those of you who have already done the D flat major scale, the concept is the same. You're gonna chunk, you're gonna start with all three fingers here. You're gonna tuck under, thumbs are gonna be on B and F, and then the fingering is the same. Group of 2, 3, 4, group of 2 and 3. Okay, so now, hopefully that made sense. And if that didn't, it will make sense to you in just a minute. This is one of the easiest scales, so just start playing all the octaves on the piano, which always sounds cooler and more fulfilling than one little octave. But let's do the fingering. So like I said, because we can't put our thumbs or our pinkies on a black note during a scale, we are using only, limited to, I suppose, fingers 2, 3, and 4 for the black notes. So since there are 3 black notes, you will play 2, 3, and 4 in the right hand because you can't use your thumb and you can't use your pinky. It's a piano rule. Don't shoot the messenger. It's the way it goes. Your thumb is going to be responsible for C flat. Visually though, I look at it as, because G flat starts on the group of 3. So my thumbs are hugging. They're playing the white notes that hug the group of 3, if that makes sense. So when you come up here, it's like a magnet. Your thumbs just want to be close to the group of 3. So you play 2, 3, and 4. You tuck your thumb under to B, C flat, but it's visually the B closest to your group of 3. You flip over. Now, in a scale, once you play your thumb, you do not skip any fingers. You always play your pointer finger. There is no other, you never do your third finger after your thumb. When you are going up in your right hand, you always go in order. So now you have 2 and 3, and we can't put our pinky on a black note. So we wouldn't put our pinky here. So therefore we don't put our ring finger there, because if we put our ring finger, our 4th finger on the F, then you're either gonna play your G flat with your pinky, which is breaking the piano rules, or you're gonna put your thumb on the G flat, which is not only extremely awkward, it's breaking the piano rules. So that's where you put your thumb on the F, and then you keep going. So it's 2, 3, and 4 on the group of 3 black notes. Then your thumb on C flat, which looks like B. Flip over 2 and 3. I'm chunking it so that you can visually see what's going on. And then your thumb tucks under to F, and then you play your pointer finger on your G flat. When you come down, your thumb everything is the same. You still play your thumb on F. You flip over remember your finger 2 and finger 3 are responsible for the group of 2 black notes. Then you bring your thumb to not C, to C flat. So again, visually, I always picture it's obsessed with the group of 3. Flip over, and then you've got your G flat scale. 2, 3, 4, thumb on C flat, flip over, 2 and 3, thumb on F, and then G flat. Coming back down, thumb on F, 3 and 2, thumb on C flat, then 4, 3, 2. The coolest thing about this is the left hand is exactly the same. Now, that obviously, what I don't mean is that your left hand pointer finger starts on G flat. That's not what I mean. But if you think of this as a picture group of a group of 3 and a group of 2, if you can picture them as a chunk, as a group, then you would play them together. So you would shove them down together. So therefore, this is a group because they're both on a group of 3. And if you look, the right hand is playing 2, 3, 4, and the left hand is playing 2, 3, 4. It's just because of how our hands are made. Our fourth finger starts in your left hand while your pointer finger starts in your right hand. Middle fingers, because they're in the middle, obviously, are going to play at the same time. And then your pointer finger will play the B flat in the left hand while your ring finger plays the B flat in the right hand. But if you concentrate on each finger doing its own thing, it's going to take so much longer to learn this scale, and that is not the point of this scale. This scale comes together quickly as long as you picture the groups. So think of these as a unified front. They always come together. So here we go. We've got your left hand, 2, 3, 4, just like your right hand, just opposites, obviously. Your thumb is going to go on that C flat, which looks like B, right next door to your pointer finger. Keep your thumb down. Don't let go. That's one of the quickest. Once you start concentrating on keeping your thumb down, your scales start sounding much more professional because it gets rid of the hiccups. Flip over, 3 and 2. So just like the right hand, remember you had pointer finger and middle finger on the 2 black notes. Well, here you have the same 2 fingers. You have pointer finger and middle finger, but because again, how our hands are made, they're not playing at the same time. You've got your third finger here, your pointer finger here, but if you think of them as a group, then they are playing at the same time. Trust me, our brains are really powerful, and once you think of it this way, it will all work out. So 3 and 2, and then you're going to swing your left hand thumb out, tuck your right hand thumb over under if you're doing the right hand. I like to learn it with one hand and then visually kind of copy it with the other hand. Sometimes it makes it easier. So thumbs play F, and then you would flip over. Okay, now, when they teach you to do a 1 octave scale on a black note, so if you've already had lessons and everything, they're like, oh, it's okay, you're doing 1 octave, just flip over with your pointer finger. That's the exact same way I taught. It's how all the method books teach. And there's technically nothing wrong with that because as musicians, we make adjustments all the time in our depending on the piece of how our fingers have to move. So in your left hand, I'm gonna say, don't listen to those books right now because I'm gonna teach you how to play all the octaves on the piano quickly. If you put your pointer finger here, you're stuck. You cannot do any more G flat scale. You're forced to come down. So let's get in the habit right now of putting your fourth finger on the G flat so that we can continue. Okay, so going up, I'm gonna do both hands together and I'm going to chunk them so you can see them. All 3 middle fingers is how I think of it because you've got your thumb and pinky. So fingers 2, 3, and 4 on the group of 3. I'm just gonna play them together. Then play them with me together. Just trust me on this. Then get your thumb on, it's C flat, but visually looks like B. You can think about whichever way it makes sense in your brain. If you're taking a test, don't forget to call it C flat. Okay, flip over, take 2 and 3 on the group of 2 black notes, play them together. Tuck your right hand thumb to F, get your left hand thumb on F, and then flip over with all 3 fingers. Just play all 3, it's fine. Again, this chunking is not how you actually play the scale. This is how you create muscle memory and mental memory and visual memory so that you can play this without having to, kill brain cells basically. So it feels more natural. Okay, as soon as you have that, let's do it again, hands together, just 1 more octave. So all 3 fingers, then get your thumb on B. Now, fingers 2 and 3. Just watch your left hand. Sometimes it likes to cross over. Make sure fingers 2 and 3 are here, and right hand, make sure it's 2 and 3. Thumbs on F, and then just flip over and do all of them. Come back down. So I know we're playing extra notes. It doesn't matter. Get your thumb on F, The tricky one is always the one that the hand that's tucking under. Now coming down, the left hand's tucking under. So make sure it's all the way on F, but don't let go of that pointer finger on the B flat. You can see my fingers are almost standing up tall. I mean, my pointer finger is practically straight. Trust me on that. It will make your playing so much better. So get that thumb standing and get those knuckles up. So thumb on F, fingers 2 and 3 on the black notes, the 2 black notes. Go to your C flat. I know it looks like a B. And then all 3 black notes. Okay, now that's it. We're not gonna play one note at a time. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you from stopping the video and doing it yourself, but check this out. We're gonna just jump into the whole piano. It's gonna sound so cool. So we're gonna go to the lowest G flat on the piano, and we're gonna go all the way up, and it's gonna be cool. So play all 3, so same fingering is all the same, we're just gonna keep going. So more octaves. 2, 3, and 4, get your thumbs on the C flat, or the B, however you're thinking about it. Fingers 2 and 3. Thumb on F, thumbs. Flip over. All 3 fingers on the black notes. It's always good to double check that you have the notes before you play them, that you have the correct fingers. It's better to go slow at first because you are creating muscle memory. You know what they say about creating new habits? Like it takes like 31 times to do it correctly in a row before your brain reprograms itself, or the number always seems a little bit different, but you know what I'm talking about. So learn it right the first time. Go slow. Sometimes if your brain is glitching, don't let go of the note you just played if you know it's right, but hold it out and look, there's no more sound. That's okay, because I'm thinking about what's coming up next. Okay, so finger 2 and 3. Okay, got it. Which fingers? Okay, 2 and 3 are on the groups of 2 black notes, so I need my 2 and 3. You literally talk to yourself like you were teaching yourself. This is why learning music does so much for your brain, because you end up being your own coach every minute you sit down to learn an instrument properly and well. So awesome job. Let's keep it up. So if the note dies out because you're concentrating, you are doing the best thing you can do for your learning. Let's keep going. Okay, so 2 and 3. Tuck under. Let's get to the F. Remember, your thumbs are obsessed. This is how I think about it. My thumbs are obsessed with the group of 3. Tuck under. Thumbs on B. 2 and 3. Tuck under, thumbs on F. Why I say tuck under? It's because the right hand's doing more work than the left hand. Make sure the left hand thumb doesn't get lazy. Don't let it rest on E. Make sure it's resting on F. Play Fs together. 2, 3, and 4 on the group of 3. Thumbs on C flat, or the white note closest to the group of 3. Keep going, 2 and 3. I know I'm talking a lot. I know I'm taking my time. You can certainly speed up the recording. Let's go 1 more octave. Might as well just go up the whole piano. C flat. And by the way, don't move your hiney. You should be leaning. You do not want to slide up and down the bench. This is another good reason to learn. I just play all 3 notes because it's easier than just playing this. Okay, so coming down, you always lean, you never slide your hiney unless you're playing some massive work that requires movement, but even professionals hardly move unless they really have to because you're one side of the piano versus the other. So you're gonna practice your leaning. Just think of it as a good ab workout. Okay, thumb on F, let's come down. 2 and 3. Thumb on C flat. 2, 3, and 4. Thumb on F. 2 and 3. While you're playing 2 and 3, look at that C flat or B, whatever you're thinking of it as. Look at it. So you're gonna play these 2 black notes, but look at the white note. Always look where you're one step at least ahead of where you're going. So that way, hopefully your thumbs just pop into place. Now, before you play the C flat or the B, however you're thinking of it, before you play it, look at the group of 3. Imagine yourself flipping your fingers over as quickly as possible. Now do it. Hopefully you were plop right into place. And if you weren't, that's okay. You're gonna work towards it and it will come quickly, I promise. Put your thumbs on F. Look at the group of 2. Now look at I'm gonna be honest, I think most everyone, when you're first learning, we think of it as a B because visually it's the B key. So whatever floats your boat, I'm not offended. Most of my students think of it as a B. So think of that B, even though it's a C flat in the actual scale name, think of the B coming up. Okay, ready? So you're looking at B, but you haven't played your black notes yet. Look at your B, stare at your B, stare at your B, now play and go to the B. Were you there? If you can always look one like step ahead, you will be much faster. Okay, now let's look at the F. Ready? Let's flip an F. Now let's flip and C flat. Flip an F. Flip and C flat. Well, I flipped early. See, it's habit. Flip and C flat. And flip. So you basically want to get to the point where you're more streamlined. So we will practice this with the metronome. I usually start around, 60. I always start at the metronome speed where I sound good. That sounds probably pretty egotistical, but for Pete's sake, the metronome is a tool, not a torture device. So start at a speed where you do it masterfully and you're like, yes, I sound so good. That was perfect. And then you speed it up and then see how fast you can speed it up. That is the best metronome practice ever to do. Don't ever just start at the fastest speed unless you're just trying to see how fast it's supposed to go. Okay, so now we'll make it a little more even. I will talk less. I'll call out what your brain should be thinking. So 2, 3, and 4, thumb, 2, 3, F, 2, 3, 4, C flat. Keep going. Can you make it steady? Oh, watch your thumb. Make sure your thumb is in place. It's better to stop and get the correct note than to plow ahead with wrong fingering, wrong notes. You are training your brain. Train your brain correctly the first time. It saves so much more work, believe me, because I did not do that when I was learning all the time. It took me a while to figure out my teacher really knew what she was talking about. And it's so much faster when you learn it correctly. I cannot reiterate that enough times. So come down. Come down. Hopefully you're feeling good. Focus on the group of 3 for the white notes. Sometimes it feels like you have to tuck your thumb further in the left hand than you're used to. See right here, make sure you've got your C flat or your B. Okay, now your goal is to go faster. Like that. When maybe do that like 2 more times, and then you are ready for hands separate. Let's do it a little bit faster together. Speed it up with the metronome as fast as 300. That's always a fun challenge, and sometimes it's more fun to chunk than it is to play the scale. But let's try the scale. Now the thing is, you have to think of it like you're chunking. So you know how sometimes, because I'm guessing this is not your first scale, you know how sometimes you're playing and then you're supposed to flip over and you do like the finger waver, like which one, and everything freezes and you're trying to figure it out and your brain is like glitching. That's because that's a sign, that's a red flag to me when that happens to me when I'm practicing something that I haven't drilled it correctly with correct muscle memory consistently. So we're drilling it. So here you have to think of it as a chunk. So even though you're going to play it separate, you're going to think of it as a chunk. So you're going to play, I'm just going to focus on the left hand for a sec. So 4, 3, 2. Then you're going to flip over 3 and 2, but they're just going to play separately. You're going to get your thumb out as soon as possible. Then you're going to flip over. You're going to play the notes separately, but your fingers are going to be in place and your thumb is going to be trying to go to the correct note while the fingers are playing separately. So let's play that hands together. This is the fastest scale besides the D flat scale. D flat major also is basically the same. So this is the fastest scale to do hands together because the fingerings are the same as long as you think of the picture groups. So even though we're going to do one at a time, picture the picture groups of the groups of 2 and 3 of the black notes, and let's go. Here we go. Try to tuck your thumb in your right hand as quickly as possible. Try to place your left hand thumb in place as soon as it can. One more. Usually we just do 3 or 4 octaves, but it's fun to do the whole piano. Okay, come back down. 2 and 3s. 4, 3, 2s. Make sure you're on F. Get that left hand thumb all the way down when it tucks. Make sure your right hand thumb is in place as soon as possible when it's coming down, because it's got the easier job. Think of it as a group, as a chunk. And that, my friends, is the G flat major scale, one of my most favorite, because it makes sense and it is simple and the fingers don't cross at weird times. It's like your hands are finally a team and it's brilliant. So hope you enjoyed your G flat scale. If you're ready for another one, go learn the D flat scale, just because it's basically the same, and who doesn't want to have two scales under their belt and awesome.